thinking inside a box, thinking I have this. In actuality, when it happens, you have this, and you're lost. So our objective is to learn the roles of the wills and trust and power of attorneys and all these other things. The key idea of estate is planning is not just for your death. It's about controlling what you have while you're alive as well. So how many know that or experience a situation where someone's passed away and the family is in an uproar? Nothing can bring a good family brawl together like a death or a wedding. For some reason, it just makes I think the adversary just knows and just kind of falls into place. And it's like sometimes even before the person passes away, while you're grieving, you've got some other family members that's already rambling through to see what they're going to take and how they're going to take it. And a lot of it can be prevented. How many know of anyone who has their things, family member, friends, that's tied up in probate? Or heard something that's tied up in probate? Okay, do you know what is probate? Does anybody know what probate is? The probate. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think that probate is when you die and your assets is distributed, but and you die and leave things going to other people or whatever. But if you don't leave it in order, as I'm sure you're gonna let us know, then the government distributes it to your loved ones the way they see fit, and then you have to pay them to do that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is. Thank you so much. Yes, go ahead.
So if it's in probate and the government gets it first, do they pay your old student loans first before the payment?
Is it your debt? They settle the estate of your debts.
You don't get away from
That student loan,
follows.
it may follow you to the grave.
I think so.
But the thing about suppose someone had a will. Say, oh, I have a will, and I filled it all out, everything's where it's supposed to go, and I've already filed it. Does that have any bearings on probate? Okay. The answer is your things are still going to probate. Yes, just because you have a will alone, it just means you're organizing going to probate, but you're still going to probate. And you still have to wait until the state, who's always late and backed up and all these other things, you will wait and wait and wait. And though the will says, I'm going to give my daughter this, my son this, my neighbor this, my husband, not my spouse, but everything outside of your spouse is already wrapped up in your will. And you've already designated who gets what. And still, when we pass, that will goes before probate, where they then look at your will, validate it, and make sure everything's in order. But it still takes anywhere 6 months, a year, even up to 2 years. Your things can still be sitting in probate. Now, you were left a house, and there's taxes that need to be paid, and you want to sell it because she said, "Well, you know what? The house isn't in the state. I don't want to live there. It's tied up in probate." Do you still have to pay those taxes and things on that house, even though you're waiting and waiting and waiting? Yes, you do. So you pay that house because you can still lose it if you don't pay your taxes on the house and it goes in a tax sale. Though your will says, oh, it goes to my sister, your sister can still lose it while it's in probate. Yes, ma'am.
When my mother died, she had a will.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any problem getting the money, but the only thing is that the bills that she had when she died, we had to pay those bills off.
You do.
And a lot of people don't realize that when a person died and they have bills, you have to pay their bills off.
Exactly. With when it goes to probate, it settles your estate. It pays your bills, and whatever is left is distributed according to your will. Did everybody know that that's how that works? If there's anything left. So we're all, wow, you had a nice little nest egg and you everything is organized, but it actually still pays off your estate before a cent goes out distributed to your beneficiaries. Do you know that there's a way to prevent that? Okay. And yes, my dears, how do you prevent that? Prevent losing your things or going to probate. There you go. Yes, having a trust. So I just want to we all know that a will is a legal document that directs how your property and your assets are going to be distributed at our passing. It names beneficiaries, guardians, and appoints an executor to settle the estate, and it clears all legal it's with clear legal instructions upon our passing. But a trust is also a legal document that directs where your assets will go and how they be managed, and it's held in this. Your assets are now held in a trust that benefits the beneficiaries, and its purpose is to, one, avoid tax probate, and provide privacy, control of your distribution, and it protects you in case you become incapacitated. So I know growing up where I didn't know a lot about trust, it wasn't not like in my community. Didn't know a lot about trust. You may have heard the name, but not really know how it functions. But do you know you don't have to be a millionaire to need a trust? And it's important. You say, well, I don't really have much. I just have a bank account, and, I may have a life insurance policy, and I may just have a retirement over here. I don't have much, so I don't need a trust. But I want to give you an illustration. If I give you, before I go to the next thing, also, does anybody know what a pour over will is? Pour, like you're pouring, a pour over will. Okay, you did a will. Let's say I did my will when I was 40 years old, and it's done. I'm like, I am proactive. It's done. I took a look at it at 50. I'm like, it's good. We're set. All right, but how many know that life happens? Things change. Assets come, you buy new ones, you get old ones, you buy new stuff, and your will no longer reflects your total assets. When I say assets, your house, your car, your jewelry, your furniture, anything that belongs to you. And you may decide, I forgot something, because when you set up, you didn't have it. So, and how many know there are people that have left jobs and left money on the table because while they were there, they were in a retirement plan, and they've been there and they forgot, went to a new job, was enrolled to a new plan, forgot the old money, and it's still sitting there. Or they remarried and never changed the names on the document. And I've seen cases of that too. In my office, we do see a lot of things, and one of them is where people are married and they had the beneficiary on their insurance or on their retirement, whatever. Now they've divorced, remarried. It's usually with the men. They never go back and change their paperwork. So now he's been married to this another lady for 20 years. She knows he's got insurance. Everything's good, except when he passes away, the name on the insurance has the first wife's name on it. So now, can you imagine what that funeral looked like? That was a hot mess, because the first wife said, it's mine. My name is on it. The second wife said, but I've been his wife. She said, that's your problem, not mine. They said, well, how are we going to bury him? That's your problem, not mine. And she happily took her check and went her merry way. Did she pay anything towards the burial expenses? No. Did she have to? No. And all the children and the spouse and the family were left empty-handed. All because a name was not changed. That brings me to your poor titling your assets is really important. The name on the thing, how it appears at your death, is its owner. So I think I jumped ahead of myself a little bit. Let me hold that thought a minute. I do want to go back to this one. I want to make sure I got our will, our trust, our pour over, and our living will. I think everyone knows what a living will is. A living will, our advanced directives that says how I want my life if I am unable to make medical decisions for myself. This is who I designate to make those decisions for me. And you can go on, I'm coming, and you can go on to have it drafted up. I want this, I don't want that, I want life support, I don't want life support. Whatever it is, you can spell it all out. And whoever you designate to be your power of attorney for your estate, for your living will, those advanced directives, they will make sure that your wishes are carried out. Question.
I heard everything, but I did not get the understanding of the pour over. Everybody else found
Okay, the pour over is I forgot. Oh, okay, the pour over is I forgot. I bought new stuff and it's not in my will. Okay, let me give an example. So that means anything that is not identified in that will or in your trust is lumped over. Let's say you upgraded your rings. You got new diamonds or got some, I don't know, brand new furniture. It's not in the will. There's nothing that says, oh, I have more assets that are not here. Suppose you never even invested in an investment fund until you were 65. You said, someone said, invest in this, and you start investing it, and it start making money. It's like, oh, okay, it's not in the will because it didn't exist the time you set the will or the trust up. So therefore, if it's not there, you need something to say, in case I did an oops and forgot something, anything else that's left pours over. Yes. Yes, that. No, but you remember you forgot. So you're not even thinking about it. You make your will's already made, filed. You can always change your will. But often once we do it, we get it and we forget it. Because it's done, it's on our check-off list, we go to the next thing. But life happens, we add more things to our life, and we forget to update it. All right, scenario. Who has got insurance on their house? Okay? Since you've got your house and got your insurance, how many have gone back to the insurance company to update your insurance policy and your limits? See? Even though you've got insurance and the premium goes up, but we also know the cost of doing it, the furnishings that you have, the new appliances. Okay, back then when you got it, they didn't have all those sensory boards and computer boards in them, and now we've got more technical appliances in our house, and we bought new things, and they cost more. And if something were to happen, we can still be underinsured, even though we've been fully insured for the time we've had our asset, but we could be still underinsured. That's an example how you can forget about something, and its consequences means I am underinsured, so now when I need it, I don't have enough to make myself back the way I was. It may build the house, but it may not be enough for the personal property because I don't have enough. Buying a house back 25 years ago, and it's right then, and what it costs to rebuild that house now and to furnish it and all that, you need to go back and look at that again. You really do. Because sometimes when we start out, we buy just what we need, maybe a little cheap set, but because we move, and there's a lot of things we're doing. We may have had younger children, but as our kids get older, we start getting better things, and our things may have cost more now. Some people downsize, some people keep what they have and just increase it a little bit. But it can be forgotten. So that pour over will says, anything that I left off, I bought a new car. It's not in the new will, and it's not in the trust. But that pour over will says anything that I left gets poured over into the will. Now that will be subject to probate because it's not in the trust. But if it's not, if you don't have that extra document, it gets left out. And it has to be, the court decides where it goes. Yes, the judge will decide, oh, the car you have, and that's where it gets kind of nasty with our loved ones because this one says, I want the car. No, you don't need a car. You got 2 cars already. I don't have one. You need one. Well, I'm the daughter. Mom didn't like you. You didn't even visit daddy. That's where it gets nasty because now the courts will decide where it goes because you didn't pour it over into the will, and the will says, this poor will says, anything I forgot still gets poured over to my will. And that's how they'll do this, according to your will. Now, did I clear that up a little bit for you? Okay. Yes.
Okay, so even if you have a will
Mm-hmm.
and the stuff is not in the will, can the family settle it? Say, for instance, car is not in the will, and they say, well, so we want to just give so-and-so the car to do it without a fight.
Okay. Good question. Anyone want to chime on that one? The question is, suppose it's a car. Can the family decide how they want to give that car away?
I would say no, because it's not, you didn't put it in the probate, you just said that they would, take over, and if it's not in the will, and they will decide who's gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to add, it depends on whether or not that loan has been paid due. Is there still a note on that car? Because it would still need to be paid, and you got to figure out, yeah, you might want the car, but can you pay for the car? And those, different things like that. So I would think that might come into play as well.
Okay. So it's the asset of the decedent. In order to transfer that asset to another family member, the decedent must sign it. A decedent can't sign that document. Therefore, the family can't just decide because it's not yours to give. Scenario: our dear beloved passed away. He bought 2 vehicles. And shortly after purchasing the last vehicle, he passes away. So now what happens to the vehicle? Well, the family says, well, we don't need it. Can we give it back to you? What do you think? The person just passed away maybe a month after receiving or purchasing a vehicle. The family says, well, can we give it back?
I don't think so. I think this is thinking now. I would think that out of the assets, they would pay for that car out of the assets.
It belongs to the estate of the decedent. You cannot say, well, let's give the car to our grandson. He doesn't have one. You can't do that. It belongs to the estate of that person. So it goes to probate. And the judge will determine who goes what. And we know there are fees associated with probate. There are costs and fees. So the best thing to do when we are looking at our documents is how a thing is titled. How many of you got bank accounts? Checking, CDs? Okay, anybody have any retirement accounts? Investment accounts? Okay, all these things, if you can picture this to make it really simple. If I am standing in the middle of an orange tree orchard, each tree is going to represent your asset. Okay? You have a tree here. This is going to be your bank account. This tree here, your CD. This one here, your retirement. This one over here, an investment. This one here, your house. Each tree has a title. Okay? The oranges represent your income. Okay? So we know it's going to, our plans are going to grow. It's going to make money. Our house appreciates. We know that our retirement funds are appreciating. They're gaining the oranges, the fruit are the oranges. With these oranges, who gets the oranges? We can't just walk into the orange patch and just grab them off the tree. Your label and how you label those things says how you get your oranges. If I have a bank account and my name only is on the account, but I have a will, and I say I want my bank account to go to my younger sibling. I pass away. What happens to my bank account? Okay, it's frozen. Why? No one can access your account because the way it's titled, how many know the title does not supersede the will? The title never overrides. The will never overrides the title. I can give anything I want away in my will, but did I title it? How do you title your bank account? Huh? It's paid upon death. You just go to your bank and add that. Transfer unto death or pay unto death to your bank account. And if you pass away, guess what? It passes straight to you, whoever you want. Very simple. Without it, we're frozen. No one can get to it. But you add that to your account, and it passes to wherever you want. Pay POD. Mm-hmm.
Could I say that because, or maybe ask, some people think that it's automatic that when they die, say their husband or wife gets everything, and that's not true.
Okay, has anyone heard that? When I pass, my spouse gets everything. That's not true. That is not true. The only thing you get is something that you share jointly. Jointly. If it's a joint bank account, the survivor gets it in its entirety. No problem. If both names are on the mortgage, the surviving spouse automatically gets it. No problem. No taxable event. If they're, yes, me. Mm-hmm.
In case of, like you say, a savings account or a checking account or an account at a bank,
Mm-hmm.
when you pass away, if you have a will
Mm-hmm.
to distribute whatever is left in your account,
Mm-hmm.
is that gonna be good enough or does something supersede that?
You must add that to your bank, because the bank is going to say, they're going to look at your records. Oh, this is Sally's checking account. You said, well, I have a will, and here's the will, here's my ID, and it comes to me.
Well, I mean, if you have listed your.
Yeah, you've listed the will. Inside the will, it says at CQ.
Not on the will, but as well as at the bank. You have your beneficiaries listed at the bank.
That's the key thing. You titled it. You added names to that account. You said transfer unto death to this person.
Yeah,
That is the key thing.
okay.
Transfer, you gotta add that to your bank account. Add that to your CD account. Transfer into that. If you have an investment account, add that to your document. Just having in your name alone and a will is not functional. It's just like having a lock and a key, but the key's not working. You still can't get in. You have to name who is going to take this asset as an instrument with that particular instrument. If it's the bank account, you have to name the beneficiary. I want this, and the bank must have it. If the bank has that paid on the transfer on death, the bank says, oh, okay, you so-and-so, you got your ID, no problem. You can do that.
I had that done to me.
Mm-hmm.
My father passed.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was still living. And when she went to the bank to get everything transferred over to her, the biggest amount of money was in my name.
Mm-hmm. And my mom can't do a thing.
And she called me up and she said, you have to come to the bank when I went to the bank, all this money was in my name.
Yes.
I felt some kind of bad. I said to her, no. I told her, I had to sign the money over to her because it was in my name. And I felt like I didn't deserve it.
But I have one question about
Mm-hmm.
that. Suppose you had died first.
Probate. If the wife's name was never on the account, probate. It's frozen. You're like, but I need the money for burial expenses. Frozen.
He had all kinds of accounts, but the most money was in my name.
And that is you.
Yes.
That's a perfect example of being married and their accounts. And you automatically assume, oh, I'm the spouse, I'm automatically going to get it. You're not automatically going to get it.
And this is the thing, my husband got upset with me because my father was always saying to me, anything happened to me, you are well taken care of. But I felt like,
It's mom, so I'm going to.
my mother is living, this is not my husband.
Mm-hmm.
My husband needs to take care of it,
Mm-hmm.
not my father.
Mm-hmm.
So I signed it over to her. But she was so generous that she gave me some of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I told her to take most of it.
Mm-hmm.
But my father had money all over the place. But
Mm-hmm.
it was just that, and if I was a different type of person, I would have said, oh no, Daddy said.
And that is what happens often. I saw your hand, Sister Rose.
Yeah, as far as the bank accounts and retirement funds,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, if you have the beneficiaries on there, is that enough?
Yes. That's what's important. How your tree is labeled. You say, I have a tree here, and it's labeled this way. And the title underneath says beneficiaries are 1, 2, 3, 4. Their names are on the document. If their names don't appear on the document, it doesn't exist. They don't get it. Now, a scenario with this person had a farm and they had a little store on the farm. My husband and wife, they ran their little farm store, and the husband passed away, and it was left to the wife, of course, because they owned it joint. They owned that jointly, so it went to the spouse. So now, when the spouse passed away, there was a will, and there was a trust. And in this trust, it says my daughter will get the little family farm store. Okay, now both parents are gone. So now the daughter happily runs down to the farm store, says, I now own the farm store, yada, yada. And there were some people that were renting the building, and they said, okay. She said, you all have to leave. I own it now. And they're like, no, you don't. Yes, I do. See, here's the trust, my name. It says this, the plot, it's mine. Well, they called the police on her. She had to leave. Why? Because 3 years earlier, mom sold it to the people that were renting the store. She didn't know. The trust was never updated. And we said what? The title supersedes any document, any will or trust. It doesn't matter if it's in the trust. If the trust cannot give away what it does not own. Mom sold the store 3 years earlier, never updated that inside the trust. The daughter did not know. They said, well, we own this. And they did. It's how your instrument is titled at the point of death, not necessarily what's in that document. So I'm saying it's important how we add our names to our documents. Don't just put it in a will. Put it on the title. If I'm going to leave my vehicle to my son or my daughter or whomever, I need to put in there a transfer of title with my paperwork signed while I am alive.
Even if the car is paid.
Yes. And I may keep it right there. So if in case I pass away, there is a signed title giving this to X, Y, or Z. So you say, well, I don't know who I'm going to give it to yet, but keep a copy of that document right there in your financial records with your will, with your trust, so it is signed, because a decedent cannot sign a title over. So how about you have a rental property? Somebody may have, you have a rental property, and you pass away. They're collecting rent, but they're like, you know what? This is too much. I'm going to sell it. Mom left me this, so I'm going to sell this. Can they sell that property? You left it in the will that my son gets my rental property. Can he sell it? Because he doesn't want to be bothered with it. He's another statesman and doesn't really want to be a landlord. Can he sell it? Only if his name is on it. But his name is in my will. I have a trust, and it says, give it to him. I put the words transfer on the death in my will and in my trust. No. It's got to be with the deed. I have to put with my deed. And there are, I've seen deeds where you will put on there, transfer unto death to this person. Now they own the house.
Can you just write that? Or does it have to be a document?
Everything is a document. And if you sign that document, and you can do like what they do, even a quick claim deed. What's so very, very easy is just go to a title company and say, can you draft a quick deed claim for my property? And you keep it in your records. It's signed and can be used. If it's not signed, and it goes to probate. But when you sign that document, you say, but I have it, I signed it, but I did not file it with the state. Is that still okay? Is it signed? Yeah. It's signed, and you were alive. And that paperwork is with now when you open your document, your estates, it says, I'm transferring this house into my trust. So now it automatically goes to trust. I'm putting all my bank accounts, I'm assigning the beneficiary to be the name of my trust. I'm putting everything in my trust. So now when I pass, everything goes to the trust. And guess what? Nothing sees probate. It just passes on, and the date goes right on. You can manage it, and because you are now a manager of that, whoever the assigned or designated trustee is for your estate, your will, they now can make the decisions for the money, for the things that's in there. Can they sell it then? Yes. The difference is how you title something is how it's going to go. What we forget to do is going to cause somebody else hardship when we're gone. And what we're trying to do in our best efforts is to alleviate any way of conflict. And we want it to be peaceful. But what we don't know can cause it to be turmoil. And that's what I'm trying to give everyone an eye opener of, not just having a will or trust. If you have it set up and you don't fund it, that's the same thing as not having it at all. If you set up a trust, there was another scenario where a gentleman had a trust and put everything, spent all his money, got a nice trust set up, and he passed away. Everything's set up where it goes, but because he never funded, and what I mean when I say funded the trust, what does that mean? No, it's signed. He signed the documents. He didn't fund the trust. That term, fund the trust. He didn't transfer the assets to it. While you are alive, if you have a trust, go ahead and you say, you know what? Go ahead and put your house in the trust. You still own it. It's still, you have full control over it. If you want to sell the house, say, you know what? I want to downsize. I want to go to a senior center community with a one-bedroom unit. I'm going to sell my house. It's in a trust. Can you do it? Yes. It's a living trust, and as long as you're alive, you can change things in and out that trust any way you want. It only becomes irrevocable when we pass. So yes, you can transfer your house. You can put or transferring the debt and paying the debt to your different investment accounts and your properties all into your trust. You can do it while you're alive, and that way you don't forget.
So in order to set up this trust,
Mm-hmm.
get a lawyer.
Yes, you can get a lawyer, and they're not as expensive as you may think. There are some very, very reasonable lawyers. And now with technology being the way it is, even with some of the online things, they can help you set up even your advance directives. They'll question you, fill in the answers, and it draws up the document, and you can take it to the attorney and have them review it and finalize it. Yes. Yes.
You mean I can get GP?
You can to help you put this sign up. I'm pretty sure right now they've been doing a whole lot with ChatGPT, AI to help the wording and all that, and still have an attorney to review it and sign.
It's called a what?
Which one? The trust, the living trust. The living trust is always changeable, so you can put anything in it while you are alive. Enjoy that while you're alive. Because you say, well, I don't have much, but when you look at the value of your house, and we all know our values when we purchase our houses are not the same as when we get older. They have appreciated in value. And you add the value of the house along with the value of some of the accounts and the value of your real estate, your retirement fund, the numbers start to add up. So you definitely want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to title our things, add those names to our documents, so we don't lose anything. So I'm sorry, you have a question?
Yeah, I did. I was gonna say, when you buy your home and you have your settlement date,
Mhm.
you go sit at the table and you do the settle papers and all like that,
Mhm.
and you sign the deed
Mhm.
and all of that.
Mhm.
Then when you leave, you bought your house.
Yes.
Is that good enough? Is it anything else you need to
Well,
do?
okay, it now belongs to you.
Yeah.
Something happens to you. Where's the house gonna go?
To your will. What else on your will?
Whose name is going to transfer to the next person? How are you going to sign it over to the next person?
I'm saying, you put it in your will, right?
That's not enough.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not
That's
enough.
not enough.
It's in the will, but the first thing they're gonna look at is the deed. On the deed, you went to settlement. I would say, you know what? Now, go back and have them add transfer the debt to your deed.
So who do you call for that?
That can be done straight with what do you call that? You can file with the land records now. You can pull up a deed, quick deed. You can call, with the leeway, I want to transfer how, but you do wording, all that. You can easily, that is very simple. To actually draft up the little paper that says transfer debt,
Where do you get that paper from?
you can get it online.
Oh, you can go on and do that?
You can find, yes.
Okay.
They've gotten so savvy with everything being online. It's like they don't even want to talk to people on the phone anymore. You call people on the phone, they're like, everything's online, go online. I have gone to some websites and their phone number's not there. Their email's there. There are a lot more things available online that you can get documents from. But I always say, have it reviewed by an attorney to make sure it's compliant with the laws of the state that you're in. So therefore, we dot our I's, cross our T's. I'm not an attorney, but I know what I want, and they say, okay, this is how it needs to be worded. They word it, and we're done. Your house is yours, and you have extra transfer the debt, and you're good. Now, in your will, you put on there, okay, my house is going to X, Y, Z. It stated all the instructions, and you also have backed it up with the documents. You need it. A will by itself is incomplete. The will, along with how you title everything, completes it. And if you want to keep it inside your family or keep it someplace, you set up a trust. It's easy to maintain and manage it. Because I was working with a client, and she had 2 kids. One was responsible, one's irresponsible. So she says, I want to leave this house to my daughter. And then I want a stipulation that says if my son goes to a rehabilitation center and is there and stays clean, they'll complete a 1 year residential rehabilitation and then stay clean for 5 years and become gainfully employed, then the daughter can transfer the house over to him. And you know she can do that. The stipulations you can write in the will. In your trust. I will transfer this asset to this person if they do this, and this. If they don't do that, if that son does not complete this rehabilitation process, if the son does not become gainfully employed, and she also said must pay rent for the time that he's living there to the sister of no less than $900. This son must do this for 5 years consistently before she can transfer the property to him. He must show that he is responsible. Because sometimes we got some irresponsible people in our families. And you know what? You know when they're irresponsible, you're like, they're not going to pay the tax. I know they're not going to do anything. I know they're not. So why even give them stuff that you know they cannot handle? Yes, ma'am.
So who monitors the stipulations?
The daughter is she is the executive of the estate. She's named, it's in her name. And these are stipulations. It will stay in her name. And at this particular point, if these done, she will transfer it to her brother. If not, she will maintain. And she can sell it if she wants to, because she is the one who's been titled to the house. So we know life is life, and we've got to work with what we have. And we don't always want to give a family member access to money because it's going to be gone. As soon as they get it, 3-4 months, they're going to be dead broke. And I'm sure we did not work hard to develop and build things, to leave an inheritance to someone who's just going to squander it. And the thing about having that trust, you can put the stipulations, whatever stipulations you want, and they will be adhered to. They will definitely be adhered to. Yes, ma'am.
Trust, is this a sheet of paper, basically?
Yes, it's a legal document. Yes. A trust says, the name of this trust is from this person, and this is the name of the person, and it's all the instructions that you want. And if you need a sample one, we can show you a sample one. But it will, exactly. It can, how many know anything about ChatGPT? Oh, okay. All right. So, how many heard of AI? Artificial intelligence. All right. So does anyone go to Google and search things on Google?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. So when you go on Google and you search, okay, what's the meaning of this, or what's the meaning, it will give you a definition of that. All right. So now what ChatGPT is, it's an online artificial intelligence which takes information that's already been there, and you say, I would like you to create a will for this name and assign this asset at this address and this, and you just say all different things that you want it to do. And hit enter.
What's it called?
Chat. ChatGPT. ChatGPT. If you have your phone, pull it out. Just put ChatGPT. Now there is a free version, and it will still do things, but it's not as in depth as the paid version.
But it's pretty good.
But it is good. It is good. ChatGPT. And you put it in, create a will. Just type, go with ChatGPT, and it's going to ask, what do you want? Create a will suitable for Maryland. And see what comes up. Create a will following Maryland guidelines. Did you pull yours up on Carol?
Yeah, but,
Yours is a paid version.
yeah, mine is a paper.
All right, anyone do it? Okay, what yours say?
I mean, but this like install it, you gotta install an app.
Yeah, see, they don't have it, they don't even have.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, let me see. Let me
It's
show you
up
mine.
on the Google, cause it pops up.
Yeah, they did do that.
You can add, let me see. I'm just show you here.
Mine says to create a will in Maryland, there are specific guidelines and legal requirements that need to be followed to ensure the will is valid.
Right.
Here's a general template, which
Mhm.
is what you want.
Scroll up, that's the template. Can you read what it says?
Last will and testament.
Uh-huh.
And it has full name and then city and state, being of sound mind and disposing memory. Do hereby declare that this to be my last will and testament, revoking all previous wills and codicils made by me. And then it has Article 1, declaration, Article 2, appointment of the executor, Article 3, dispensation of property, and it has real estate, residential estate, Article 4, special gifts and bequests, Article 5, guardianship, Article 6, residential clause, Article 7, no contest clause, Article 8, powers of the executive, Article 9, signatures and witnesses.
Keep going to the instructions at the bottom.
All right there. And if you say the name is this, it will put the name in there. You say the house is.
And then
it
the
will
witness,
let
and
her
then
read.
witnesses, yeah.
And you just print it out, sign it, and no, go to have it notarized, because you have it notarized, so that or have two witnesses. But that simple. She just pulled up a will,
And go have a lawyer.
and you just have the lawyer review it to make sure everything is where it needs to be. Just like that. It took her all of 15 seconds. However long it takes to type it in there and hit that enter button.
How fast ChatGPT does.
So that is what they do. That already, the internet is full of information that people type and post already. So it's just grabbing the different things and the knowledge, law, book things that's already on there. It's there. But never ever give 100% trust in anything. I say trust, but verify. You can print that up, fill the information in, and just have an attorney look over it to make sure it's compliant. Just that simple.
And you go to legal aid.
Yep, they do have legal aid here in Baltimore. If you're a Baltimore City resident, there's legal aid. And they won't do it for you, but they'll make sure, they'll look over it and make sure everything, they'll say, okay, you need to have this. They'll tell you everything that you need to have. And tell you how to, if you don't know how to file it, they'll tell you how to file it. And they'll do it all free. So there are ways to get it done without it being stressful and without it being overly expensive. But it is so worth it. There's a clause in there that probably no one thought about. Non-contest clause.
It didn't come up on mine, it came on hers.
A non-contest clause, which means no one can contest this. Because people do that. People do that. Well, we're going to contest the will. Send it to a trust, you can't contest anything. It says it is, it's done, was done, and it is what it is. So I'm just saying the difference between the two, a will is public. A trust is private. A will is going to go through probate. A trust will not. So, and the trust gives you control while you are alive. A will is only active at our passing. So I'd rather watch what's going on that we can transfer things in and out. You know, there are times that our children may pass before we do. We may have to go back and update some names in there. But that trust, the moment it is signed, is a living and active instrument. That's just the opposite for your will. The will you can change and all, but it does nothing until we pass away. So I just want to make sure that we know that it's the difference between two. They work together, and the best way for them to work together is title your stuff correctly so that it can pass the way you want it and save your family heartache on taxes, because there are going to be some taxes. Somebody's going to pay some taxes. Who is it going to be? There's the person that's living. I have a couple scenarios before we live here. Let's see. This one you probably know. I'm going to do this one. It says, Mr. Will leaves a bank account to his niece. The account has no POD, paid on death, and what happens to that account? It says Mr. Smith leaves a bank account to his niece. The account does not have a POD. Probate is going to go through probate, okay? So she got to wait, and she had to pay fees to get this money. All right, next scenario. Mrs. Jones created a trust but never transferred her rental property. The rental property remained in her name. Why? Very good, good. The next scenario. Mr. Davis funds his trust with his bank account, his retirement plan, his investments, his rental property. What happens upon his death? It's in the trust. Now, you said he didn't give it to anybody. The trust can give it to anybody, and it can stay there. It can stay in the trust, and the good thing about a trust, it can continue to it stays alive. So how you build wealth, you add to the trust. Now, suppose my whole generation is gone. Now it's my children's generation. That trust is still alive, and it's still, the property in there is still making money. They're still collecting rent. It's growing in value. That's how a lot of other people gain wealth. And how you keep it in family, and it never sees probate. And it stays private. So your house in probate. I mean, not probate, in your trust. So now your house is there. So you get a rental property. That's in your trust. They're renting it out. Okay, now I'm gone. So now my kids say, well, you know what? The house in good condition. We'll continue to let's rent mom's house out. Okay, that's bringing in. It's also appreciating in value. Now their kids' time to go to school. Can they take money out that trust to help pay tuition? Yes. Now they're getting up in age. They decide, you know what? I want to add to the trust. Can they do that? They sure can. And it's adding, and it's growing, and it's growing, and it's growing. The only time it dies out is when you take everything out and fund it and close it. But you can pass that on down. Pass it on down. You say, well, you know what? My retirement, I just want to go into the trust, and I want every year to give a disbursement of whatever percentage to my children. You can do that too. So that no one squanders through it. But suppose someone has a family emergency. They can go to the trustee of the state and say, we need XYZ money. It's an emergency. Can we take XYZ out of the state? Yes, here you go. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, yes. You gotta go. I'm coming.
If you have a home that's 2 days old,
Mm-hmm.
you put your share in trust?
You can. You can. So that's a good question. I'm coming to you. So you have a house and it's jointly owned. Normally, when you pass, it goes to your spouse, the other person. But you can say, I want my equity to go into my trust. So that when you do sell it, I'm not making you sell it because you can't make them sell the house. But when it does, my portion of that proceeds will go into my trust. So that therefore you still, if you don't, winner takes all. The person remarries and that spouse is there and they're like, okay, well, he added the spouse to the deed, even though she's not on the note. She gets everything. And if she then passes and leaves in a trust, her children gets the house and not yours. That happens. That's real life. People get married, separate, divorce. All right, the house we add, my name is still on the deed. I add your name to the deed. But now my children over here saying, okay, well, my mom had a house and where's our part? Like, well, no, because the new spouse says, well, my name is on the deed and I left it in a trust to my kids. That's how you get them family squabbles. Half sitting on one side of the church mad at the other half, and they roll their eyes because one side of the family is disrespecting the other by means of money and assets. What's supposed to be mine, I thought was mine, you're not giving it to me, da da da. You,
Okay, you leave a trust.
mhm.
You said they can continue to use it. But after you gone there, whose name is the trust in?
The trustee, remember you've assigned a trustee. So now the trustee is managing your estate. The trustee can assign a new trustee. Now, okay, let's say I'm managing a trust. I can say, okay, I feel that my mind may not be memory. Maybe I need to assign this to someone else. And we can add some more instructions.
And that did kind of bring up another question while you said that. Because there are a lot of people having Alzheimer's. Suppose you were the trustee and you have that. Then what?
Good question. In case your person becomes incapacitated, they can no longer do that, it's good to have an alternate person. It's good to have an alternate person. In the event that the person I've designated is not able to do it, then I have this person here. That's why it's good to, review that, every year, to just review, make sure everything is straight. If we have to make any adjustments, we can make the adjustments so that the names are accurate, so that we don't want to go that far. And now this person that is monitoring the state is no longer able to monitor the state. Now we got to find somebody else and who's going to do this and all that. It's good to be prepared so that it will automatically function even in your absence. Any questions for anything? All right, so let's see. Did I get my last scenario in here? I wonder. Okay, one other one. I didn't tell you much about your power of attorney, but Mr. Brown has a power of attorney. What's a power of attorney? Okay.
Or decisions to make for you.
Okay. She said it's the person that has the authority to make decisions of when you die.
Or like
It's only while you're living. Because the moment you pass away, that is gone. You can't say, well, I'm a power of attorney. I can. Only while you are alive can you act on a person's behalf to make their decisions. That power of attorney ends when a person passes. And that's when your will take over. They work, one works at your death, one works while you're alive. They don't overlap. So just because you have a power of attorney, that's all while you're alive. And the last one I have here is, okay, this one right here. Mr. Brown has a power of attorney naming his daughter, and after a stroke, she pays his bills and manages his investments. And when he dies, what happens? She's no longer power of attorney. And if he did not have a trust or will, even with the will, it's still going to probate if he did not have a trust. It still goes to probate. So we just want to be mindful of that, because I'm getting older, and when I'm young, you don't think about this stuff. But as you get older, we need to know what to do with our things and how to keep it. If we worked hard and God has allowed us to have it, we need to maintain what we have. And this our last one is Miss Taylor will leave a 401k to her son, but her 401k beneficiary form still has her ex-husband's name on it. What is the result of that? That child is not going to get it. That is absolutely right. So, and does anyone have any questions regarding your will, your trust, transferring, titling things so that You know what you're supposed to do, what you should have, and what you should be working on so that you have in place? Yes, ma'am. I would say that's all together. When you're going to sit down and do your estate planning, let's do the will and a trust and the power of attorney so that we can all, you're covering all, and they all work in tandem together. So don't, one by itself is not going to do it. They need to work in tandem. That's your advanced, yes, that's your living, this advanced directives, or also known as your living will. Yes, that was the fourth one. Thank you, Carol. And that can all be done at one time. When you sit down, you draft that up, you can go back to your chat GPT again. Advanced directives. There are hospitals that have advanced directives, and you just fill in the blanks, and it's done. So this is not something that's hard. You say, well, I don't have the form. Contact your hospital. I need a copy of advanced directives. Go online, search it, and then fill in the blanks. It's going to ask you, do you want to be feeding through a feeding tube? Do you not want to be hooked up? It's going to ask you all those questions, and you check the box. Yes, I can print them out, or if you leave me your email, I can email it to you. Yes.
The library, they have a database called Legal Forms Library. You can see the library card.
Exactly. She was saying if you can go to the library. It is still a very, very, very resourceful place, and you can print them all out right there.
And your living will, you can get from your doctor's office. And it's, you should have it scanned to your medical records at your doctor.
Yes, because if something happens to you, they won't be trying to go through your house trying to find your document. It should already be with your doctor. So they said, we have on file your advanced directives. So we already know what she wants or he wants. And they already know who to contact to make decisions. So those are things we can do while we're alive, enjoying life, but we're making sure that if something happens, that my wishes are being carried out. You know what I want. And a family that's hurting does not have to try to make hard decisions while they're grieving, because that's really hard. And it has to be done, but it's hard. But if we can plan it, so they're like, okay, well, mama wanted this, or daddy wanted this, or whoever wanted this, my aunt wanted this, my uncle wanted this, it makes it better. While you're going through that, you're following, okay, I'm doing this. I'm not trying to do this from scratch, trying to figure out, should we do this, or should we do that, or should I? It makes that whole confused time a little less cumbersome. It lightens that load. Yes, ma'am.
And I'd also say, in regards to your freedom of things, if the church that you attend has those things, we know what to do at that time.
So I'm going to put together have a packet of templates for your advanced directives, for your will, for a trust, and what's our fourth one? Oh, power of attorney. So that if you said, well, you know what, can you just give me that packet and just work on it? We got some time, just work on it. Have it looked over by your attorney and filed, and that means it's done. And if you're a person that's like to file things, save a copy, scan it, and email it to your trusted family member or something, because nothing's harder than going to someone else's house trying to find important documents, and you don't even know what it looks like or where to begin to look, and you're fumbling through papers.
No, that's when you need to have you a box, one of them lock boxes.
The lock box, a fire safe box.
So if your house catch on fire, it
That
will
box.
not burn up. You have everything in it. You don't have to search for nothing. That's what I got. And that's put your house in order.
Put them deeds, put everything in that fire safe so they know what to do. And you can also put in your safety deposit box at the bank, and you can also scan it into your email and send it to your trusted family member, so there is a copy, signed copy of everything. Because if it's all done and it's not signed, it does not exist. All right. I think we're about done. So we already know that if a person dies without a will or trust, that they risk everything going into probate for a period of time. We know the benefits of having a trust and the benefits of having a will. And we know the benefits of having someone to make decisions if we become incapacitated and know what our advanced directives are. Is there anything that I did not cover that you had a question or anything about?
Well, just like to say, I think if things go through probate, they can take up as much as 40-some% of whatever.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And if you have a retirement, you've got $100,000 sitting in your retirement fund. Don't think that your beneficiaries are going to get the whole 100% of that. They won't. The title says how to keep my stuff was what I told Dr. Fancher, because you don't want to work and give it all away. We pay taxes and all while we're alive, but I want to leave something for my children. I want to have my fruits have it grow even while I'm not here. I want them to still benefit from it. So these are things that we can do to equip ourselves and equip and educate our children, because they are young adults now as well, nieces and nephews, so that they are also equipped and know what to do. I appreciate everyone for coming out, and I thank you for your participation. I hope you got something out of it. Did you? Did you? And if you need a copy of these templates, let me know. I will send you. Yes, ma'am. Copy. I will send you. Text me your email, and I will send it to you, and I'll try to have some printed out for tomorrow, so just you can see what they look like and read through them, because you're like, well, what do I put in? What do I say? I don't know. The template will give you a starting place. It will start. It gives you a starting point. This. Oh, I didn't think about that. It's all there. You can just kind of sit there while we're scrolling through social media. Put that aside and go through your paperwork. And it's worth it. You will save yourself aggravation for your family. It will save yourself with your assets going to probate, and it will save you from losing money, giving away in fees because we didn't properly plan. I appreciate my time is up, and I thank you so much. Thank you. Did you have any questions, Mother? Anything? You're good? Thank you guys so much.
All right, let's give Minister Tracy another hand. I think we all learned something today. So we got to get our house in order. And as I said, that living will I done had for years, and I'm so glad that I had it, because when I had my stroke, I said, oh, Lord, something go wrong with my mind. Yeah, it was too late, but thank God, God didn't touch my mind with it, so I thank the Lord with it. But my doctor, when I went to my doctor yesterday, he pulled it up on the screen for me. He said, oh, you got your living will in here. So that's good to have, because you never know what's going to happen to you. You never know. I didn't even know that day I was going to have a stroke. So, it's good to have. So we need, and by all means, get one of them 5-boxes. I went and got me one a couple years ago, put everything in it, my insurance papers, everything, so that nobody had to search for anything, because I had to go search for my husband's aunt's insurance papers when she died. We could not find them anywhere. And I had to actually pray and ask the Holy Spirit to show me where they were. And we found them. But it's hard when nobody knows where your insurance papers are. So please make sure you do that. So we thank you, Minister Stevenson, for all the information you've given us. We thank y'all for coming out, and pass the information on to your family members. Don't just keep it to yourself. Pass it on, because a lot of people don't know about this. I didn't know about it, a lot of things she said. So we need to pass it on. All right. Nope. No good, no good. It's be in writing. Yep, everything must be in writing nowadays. All right, so we're gonna have Minister Williams, if you'll come on up and close us out this today, and don't forget 1 o'clock we at Future Care Nursing Home.
Most holy and all wise God, we just want to say thank you. We love you, Lord, and we thank you, Father, for reminding us to get our house in order. We thank you, oh God, that you've given people the ability to show us the direction, especially in those areas